This new method for making money on Instagram should be illegal because it's so simple, and I've been using it in the past 30 days to make myself and clients hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm going to share it with you right now today. Now, let's get right into it. My goal from this video is to make you a fuck ton of money, right? I work with a lot of coaches, personal brands, consultants, guys selling courses. Work with some software companies as well. And I do everything through organic social media to help scale audiences and make a lot of money from those audiences, right? And so everything in this video and everything on my channel is about trying to make you a lot more money through organic social media. So you don't have to fully rely on paid advertising, and you can build this insane machine. Now, the first thing we need to understand about this method for making money from Instagram is nothing happens unless you have the right positioning. Okay. Positioning is everything. We have to remember that the online space is extremely competitive. And I mean, it's like the most competitive thing in the world, right? You have people posting millions of videos every year. They're trying to get attention from your ideal client. They're all trying to get money from people. It's extremely competitive, right? And you have to remember that even though, let's say, for example, you're like a high performing, I don't know, lawyer or something, or you're doing really well in your business, but you're doing well in your business in the real world, right? You might have a lot of respect from your peers in your city or in your circle, in your friend group, right? But on the internet, that same respect and that same sort of authority does not translate over immediately, right? On the internet, when you have a personal brand and you're trying to grow a brand, the only thing that really matters is how many followers do you have and what's the quality of your content. That's literally the only thing that matters, right? If someone goes onto your page and they don't see either a lot of followers or they don't see any quality content, you have no stats, you have no authority, regardless if you're like the top lawyer in your city or you're like the highest performing, I don't know, athlete coach or something. If you have no social media presence, it really doesn't matter in today's day and age, especially in the online world, right? So the only way to be respected is to actually grow that audience and start to put out quality content, right? Now, you need to be known as the guy. So, oh, I can't spell fucking properly. The guy, right? If you're not the guy for a niche, you basically don't have that positioning, right? So this is obviously like a long-term thing. It doesn't happen overnight, but you need to start working towards becoming the guy for a specific niche, the guy in lawn care, the guy in law for entrepreneurs, the guy in tax efficiency for American entrepreneurs, the guy for whatever, right? You want to be known as that guy. As soon as you're known as that guy, then anyone who is wanting to pay for that kind of service, they immediately think of you, right? They immediately think of coming to you rather than anybody else. So this is what we need to build towards. Now, we can easily, or not easily, but we can start to build that kind of positioning quite quickly, to be honest, right? Like I've had clients making 80K per month from 10,000 followers, right? 10K followers. So you don't have to build an enormous following to be seen as an authority and a space leader, right? You just have to get to a decent number of followers. Now, the only way you do that is through a couple of other steps that I'm going to be explaining in a second. But we have to understand that if we want to be building a very large business or a great income stream, we have to be seen as the guy for that space, right? Another bonus tip that I also want to give you is being known as the guy with a certain quirk. Now, what I mean by quirk, right? There's this guy in the online internet marketing space called Jeremy Haynes, right? He's the guy that helps people get to $1 million months. That's like his thing. If you can have a thing, then you're going to be instantly recognizable from anybody else. Now, this isn't really something that you can be told how to do from like a video like this, because the reason why it works is because you come up with it yourself and you make it unique and you make it organic. If we look at guys like Daniel Dalen, right? He's the guy that has this specific type of videography, right? And if you look at anybody else, you have Hormozy. He's the guy with the nose strip and the guy with the hat and the wife beater. He's that guy, right? That has that image. You look at Grant Cardone, he's like the guy who's like the over abrasive real estate guy, right? If you really want to stand out very quickly, come up with your thing, come up with your quirk, come up with something that makes you different, right? For example, Dan Martell, he only wears blue t-shirts. That's like his thing. He's the guy with the blue t-shirt, right? I seen another guy who only wore red, right? Now, that's a thing, right? It's not really that deep. He just wears blue or he wears red, but it's something that sticks in your mind as, oh, he's the guy who does that. He's the guy who takes people to $1 million months. He's the guy that X, Y, Z. Okay, so if you want to stand out from the beginning of your content strategy, you need to be known as the guy who does this thing. And eventually, if you keep building, you will be known as the guy who helps this niche, right? So the guy for this quirk will lead to the guy who dominates the space. Okay. That's the first thing you need to understand. Now, the second thing you need to understand is a content strategy. If you don't have a content strategy, you won't get traffic, right? Obviously, you can pay for paid ads, but one, people don't want to pay for paid ads anymore. Two, you can get the same amount of exposure at higher monetization rates through an organic audience if you do the content strategy the right way. Okay. So I'm going to break down exactly how that content strategy should work, right? Now, every content strategy needs 4 pillars. Okay. So pillar number 1, and this is like an example for a personal brand, by the way. This is something that I actually designed for a consulting client recently. Now, pillar number 1 in terms of your content is talking head. This is your classic like this, like short form content, talking to the camera, giving value, giving an opinion, being controversial, being motivational, being entertaining, even straight talking to the camera. Now, this is, by the way, assuming that, let's say we're posting 60 videos a month. I know that sounds daunting, but it's actually really easy when you break it up. Okay. So like half of these will be filming and half of them will be non-filming, which will make sense in a second. All right. This is where you give your value. It can also be entertaining and can even be inspirational. Now, content generally falls into one of these 3 buckets. Okay. If it's not one of these 3, it's pretty much not content, right? You're either giving value, being educational, being entertaining, or being inspirational. And this is your talking head pillar. Okay. Now, pillar number 2, this is what I call fake podcast. I know people get a lot of stick, like a lot of like people talking shit about them for doing like fake podcasts, but either call it fake podcasts or call it like a Q&A video, Q&A vids. And all that is you have the camera, you're sitting kind of at a side angle, you have a podcast microphone here, and either you're talking to yourself or you have somebody asking you questions that your ideal client profile would want to know, right? Like if you're in the fitness, like how do you actually get abs? And it's like, yeah, like a lot of people approach getting abs wrong. They think it's all about in the gym, but realistically, it's all in the kitchen. Here's exactly how I break down that meal plan, right? So you're talking kind of in a podcast format. Now, this builds super authority. This is not going to get you a shitload of views, by the way, because it's more niche, it's more value based, but this is what's building your authority. In fact, both of these video styles will build your authority. Okay. Now, with the fake podcast styles, the reason why we want to do them is because it, 1, builds your authority, 2, gives your viewer a lot of value, and 3, it moves them along the buyer cycle or the buyer journey from just a viewer to more towards being aware of the problem, aware that you are the provider of a solution for that problem. And in the entire time that that's happening, it's building the likelihood that they will want to explore working with you to solve that problem. Okay. Now, there's a client I said over here that had $80K per month from 10,000 followers. The fake podcast style was like her winning style of content, right? She would get anywhere from 5 to 20 to 25K views on those fake podcast videos. But everybody who would come in off the back of those videos were extremely qualified people because they basically, it's like if you see someone almost talking on a podcast, it's synonymous with like high value and a lot of authority. So do fake podcast styles. That's your pillar number 2. Like 15 talking heads per month and 15 fake podcast videos per month. And when you batch these and you prepare them in advance, these can be filmed extremely quickly, right? Like I'm literally talking within 60 to 120 minutes a month. You can bang out 30 videos in total of this style. It's literally that easy, right? So don't tell me that you don't have time for content because making that volume of content is actually very, very simple. You just have to do it. Now, pillar 3, and this is the style video that's going to get you a lot of views. And this is your B-roll / non-filming style videos. And you've probably seen these a lot, right? It's a B-roll clip with text on screen. And these videos are generally like 7 to 10 seconds long. They have B-roll, maybe a short text on screen or long text on screen, just explaining some sort of value. And in some cases, it's just a title on screen. And then it'll say something like, read caption. and it'll point down to the caption. And then you have a long caption. And the reason we have a long caption is because the video is only 7 seconds long. It's going to take that person maybe 30 seconds to read that caption, which means then that the video cycles 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And then that kind of tricks the algorithm into thinking this is a really high watch piece of content, and it'll push it out to more people. It'll rank higher, push it out to more people, and then it's like a snowball from there. Now, here's where the magic happens, and this is where you're making money, right? At the end of the long caption, you have a comment CTA. So if you want free thing, or if you want to work with me to solve the problem that I just talked about in that caption, comment the word whatever, and I'll either send you the free thing or I'll send you next steps for how we can work together. Okay. Now I have a client and they made 100K from one video, over 100K, I should say, from one video, just like this, B-roll style, long ass caption, comment CT at the bottom, got thousands of comments. Their setter went through and started booking appointments with all kinds of leads. It crushes. Okay. When you execute this pillar right, it crushes. Now you should have 15 of these B-rolls a month. Now, you got to film B-rolls, okay? You got to go and actually set up the camera or have a videographer or have your girlfriend or something film these clips, right? Because then you can upload them to a Google Drive and then you just tell your editor to just fucking make something. Find an existing B-roll video in the space that's working really well and just adapt it over to your niche, right? Take the same structure of how they laid out that content and just adjust the actual wording so it fits what you're saying. You could be in the business coaching space and then you see somebody in the fitness space that had a really good B-roll video. It's like, okay, let me get a similar kind of, B-roll clip. Let's structure our sentences in the same way, but let's totally change the wording so that it's actually fitting to my niche and my service, right? Just take that, get an editor to find those videos, list them out, and they can make them on autopilot. You don't have to be involved for filming any of those. That's why when I say 60 videos a month, it's extremely durable when you actually think about it, because you're only recording 30, right? Because this 15 here is a non-filming. And then I'm about to explain to you another style, which is also a non-filming. So pillar 4, and this is a new content style that's performing extremely well. I've had clients going super viral off the back of these and generating literally thousands of comment CTAs in the meantime and closing deals off the back of them. Now, these are photo carousels. Now, the caveat here is you have to have it with music. If there's no music, it will just be shown as a photo and it will only be shown to your existing audience, which is fine if you have a big existing audience because it can generate leads. But if you put it with music, it will also be shown in the Reels feed. So if you ever swiped on a reel and then you see the photos that you can just like swipe by, that's what I'm talking about. It's a photo carousel shown as a reel. Now, the difference of what we do here is like each slide has text on it. And these are strictly storytelling. So you can have up to, I think, 20 or 30 slides on Instagram. Instead, it used to be 10. Now you have way more. These are strictly storytelling. So first one should obviously be a very strong hook. And it should only be a few words long, not that long. Leave a ... at the end of the sentence. The person has to swipe to get the next part of the story. 5 years ago, I almost died in a car accident. Swipe. I was going too quick. I crashed into this and I broke my fucking neck or something. I was in the hospital. Then I learned to like rehab myself. Then I got into shape and, all this stuff. Whatever, if you have like a little story, like a 0 to hero story, explain the story, explain the journey that you went on and how it ties into what you help people with. If it's health consulting or business consulting or whatever it may be, tie the story into how you help people. And then at the end, on the last slide, once you've basically got someone all the way to the last slide, they are invested in that story and they most likely resonate and also want to get help with the thing that you're talking about. So last slide has a comment CTA, either for a free thing or to work with you. Either or, it's your choice. You can do both. Now, these don't always get shown as reels. The caveat here is your existing audience has to engage with this content at a significant enough rate where Instagram deems it good enough to push it as real. So if you get like 100 likes or something on that reel from your existing audience, it's a much more high likelihood that it'll get pushed to the Explore feed and it'll also be pushed onto the Reels feed as well. Okay. So pillar 4, photo carousels. Now you do 15 of these per month as well. Now, How this actually breaks down into an actual sort of content posting plan is just like this. So Monday, pillar 1 in the morning, pillar 2 in the evening. So one walking / talking video, you can walk and talk at the same time, or you can sit in place, talk to the camera. Pillar 2, B-roll plus text video. So one filming, one non-filming. Tuesday, again, you have a filming video, then a non-filming video. So you have your fake podcast style, then you have your photo carousel. Again, one filming, one non-filming. And then Wednesday just repeats Monday, Thursday repeats Tuesday, and et cetera, et cetera. So every day you have one filming, one non-filming video. Okay, so you only had to film 30 videos. And then if you have a decent editor in place, they can get together the other 30 based on all the assets that you've compiled. This is how you get 60 posts out a month, right? You obviously then have to, you have to batch everything together so you can film it and create it very efficiently. But once you have that in place, this is the plan. This is the plan for how you're going to post that content that will get views and actually get leads and turn that into fucking money at the end of the day, right? Now, the third thing that you need to understand about this whole strategy, and this is where it ultimately will monetize, right? So obviously we need our positioning. Without positioning, no one's going to be convinced that you can help them. That's just the way it is. Second, we need our content strategy. Without content, no one will see you. So they won't see you and they won't think or believe that you can help them. Once you have those two things in place, you need to have the right funnel to convert these people. Now, funnel. Let's talk about it. Now, obviously, I've kind of already alluded to this, but we're going to be using ManyChat heavily. And I mean heavily. This is going to be the lifeblood of this funnel, right? Because you can have setters and humans and everything, but they're just not as efficient as automations. You have to have automations in place if you want to automate a lot of this lead flow. And believe me, once you start getting thousands of comments, you must have these automations in place or else you're basically cooked. All right. So use ManyChat heavily. Every single video, and I mean every video and every post must have a CTA. Now, you're probably thinking, isn't that too aggressive? And it would be if you were just doing it in every video, like buy my stuff, buy my step. That's not what I'm saying. You're not CTAing always to work with you. You're CTAing more often than not for something that is free. And that free thing can lead to your paid thing later because you'll capture the email and you'll get them in through another route at a later date, right? So CTA for the free thing. Now, every video can have a CTA in 3 locations. You can do it verbally. So you literally say, comment the word whatever, and I'll send you the thing. You can have it text on screen. So in the B-roll videos, like I mentioned, you can literally pop the CTA on screen, comment whatever, I'll send you the thing. And in the third one, and this is how you can do CTAs without seeming overly aggressive. So you won't say the CTA verbally, you won't show it text on screen, but you can do it in stealth mode by putting it in your caption. You can have a long, even AI generated caption that just explains, say you're doing a talking video, right? And you're talking about whatever, you can have an AI caption to just write you 5, 6 sentences, kind of expanding on the concept that you were talking about. And then the last sentence is comment keyword and I'll send you free resource, right? Now, that is one of the ways that if you're posting a lot of talking head and you're not getting a lot of leads, you can put that in there. And if you're kind of worried about giving too many CTAs, and being too aggressive, put them in the stealth, put them stealth CTAs in the captions, right? That's going to pick up a lot more comments of people that are actually reading the caption. And that's a very high intent lead, actually. When someone reads a long caption and then comments for the CTA, that's a great lead. Now, one thing I've noticed across all of the clients that I manage, the ones that I co-own, the ones that I have revenue shares with, the ones that I consult, is that 60 to 70% of all clients, paying clients from organic, they originated from commenting for a free thing. Now, that is how powerful that this is. You have to be using this. If you're not using this, you're literally just not going to grow. Okay. So you have to be using ManyChat automations to actually capture people, get them to put up their hand and show interest in what you're doing. Now, there are other ways to actually more deeply monetize ManyChat solutions. And, if you want my personal help with that, literally just link in description, book a call, no issues. You won't regret it whatsoever. But you can be more in depth with ManyChat automations to actually monetize significantly easier. Now, the one that I'll give you on this video is obviously by using a setter. Okay. So every single person that comments for your free resource must be activated by a setter. They must get a DM. Okay. Every single person. If your setter is not doing that and nurturing the conversation from there, they're not doing their job correctly. Each one of those people is a lead that can be booked on for a call. Okay. For your high ticket offer. Now, once your setter is done messaging all of the inbound leads that came from comments, then you want to get them to DM regular comments, like not necessarily the ManyChat comments, get them to DM the likes, and most importantly, get them to interact with existing followers and new followers. Now, a brand new feature that you can use on ManyChat is to automatically DM all new followers. I've been doing this. I have a client with 1.6 million followers on Instagram. We just added in the ManyChat automation to contact new followers. It literally just got released like 1-2 days ago, and it's been performing phenomenally already. Every single new follower we get, they immediately get a DM to try to get them through our funnel for our low ticket course. Okay. Every single new follower must get a message. Okay. Every single one of them. All right. Then once they're obviously interacting with the setters, interacting with those new followers, then they can also be DMing existing followers. If you have 5,000, 10,000 plus people, and the setter's like, well, there's no leads in the account at the minute, it's like, go find them in the followers list. Scroll through the list, see if there seems to be someone that looks like they could be high quality, send them an outbound message and connect with them. Okay. You can also even send them a video message, right? If you are doing the DMs yourself, just record a video message, say, hey, what's up? How's it going? I saw you followed me. Just curious, why do you follow me? Are you interested in whatever it is that you're talking about? Are you interested in fitness, or are you just here to watch the content, right? Video message, or you can record a generic one without saying their name, give that to the setter, and then they can send that to the prospects in your following. Now, as I promised you guys, like the goal of this video is to make you a fuck ton of money. And I promise that if you consistently implement this, you are intentional about your positioning, you are consistent with the content strategy, posting 30 to 60 videos a month, short form videos on Instagram, and you install the right ManyChat funnel, it's almost impossible that you can't make money from this strategy. All right. Like almost impossible. If you're posting the content, you're getting the traffic. If you're intentional about your positioning, you'll attract high quality people who will want to work with you because they believe you have the solution. And if you have the right automated funnel in place, you capture leads from the viewers and you convert them over to sales calls and then therefore convert to clients. It's really hard to fuck this up. Like just being real with you, man. Like it's hard to fuck this up. So be consistent with the strategy. You will make money, I promise. And if you want my help to, I don't know, consult you or help you implement this or whatever stage of business you're at. I work with people all the way from 20, 30K per month, all the way up to 9-figure companies, believe it or not. And if you want to see more content like this, link in description. I'll have another video there linked that'll go in depth on some other topics about how to make money from Instagram and social media. And yeah, if you want to book a call with me, also link in description, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.